This is Parin Shah. Welcome you all in our brand new video about how to calculate intrinsic value. With the fellow investor in this video, we are going to explain how to calculate intrinsic value, and we'll first define what intrinsic value is, what are the key components that go into the formula. I'll give you the template also downloadable so that you can put in your input figures, your estimation about your stocks, and then that you can get intrinsic value pretty easy. And we'll also explain through taking a live example of Amazon stock, and will give you brief understanding about intrinsic value of a business. If you get a value from this video, please go ahead and smash the like button because it helps a lot with YouTube algorithm and support the channel. Thank you. Let's start the definition as per the Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett.
Well, intrinsic value is what is the number that if you were all knowing about the future and could predict all the cash that a business would give you between now and Judgment Day, discounted at the proper discount rate, that number is what the intrinsic value of a business.
And the formula, Warren?
Discounted present value of future cash. Yeah.
Thank you, Warren. Someone said a lot of interesting things. Now we have to see what are the factors, what are the input factors that go into the intrinsic value formula, which are those that we have to assume and think about to get the intrinsic value at the end. When it comes to intrinsic value, we have to first think of three key concepts. So it is the cash flow, as Warren said, or the earnings. So how those work together, what is the value that business creates, what is the value that business will create in the future. Thus we are talking about the growth rate. And then we have to think about the concept of time. How much is $1,000 in a 2030 worth now, for which we use the discount rate. If we start with the factors, the first factor is cash flows or earnings. How do we get those, and what is the number to input in our formula? The definition of the available cash, like free cash flow for distribution, is calculated by using following formula. Like we have reported earnings plus depreciation and plus non-other cash charges minus capital expenditures. So this is the formula for free cash flow. I know it's very tricky, but let's simplify these things. Take an example. If you analyze some companies like stable, simple, and a long-term business, let's take Apple here and understand the net earnings and the free cash flow of Apple's here. If we look at Apple here, you have the net income. So it was the 25 billion 10 years ago, 40, around 50. Now it's close to 60. Here you have the earning per share, and if we look at the free cash flows, those also depend on the business. If the business is growing and investing a lot, the free cash flows will be a little bit lower. If the stable business, mature business, the free cash flow might be a little bit higher. When you are in the business, you have to get the feeling what is the key number there. Perhaps the easiest thing to just take a net income and then adjust depending on what kind of business you are looking at. The one question is like, where can you get this information? It is pretty simple. You just go to the Morningstar, type Apple, click on Apple, and here you have a lot of data about the companies. The code, you click on a key ratio, full ratio data, and you'll get the full financial data over the last 10 years from the revenue, share earnings plus more financial ratio that can help you with determining whether something is buy or not. But also for other companies, this makes things a lot easier. However, this is a data provider. I'm always prefer to check things with the annual report, because data providers, they hire vendors and there can always be an error. Or so use this as an indication, but always check with the financial report. Also, if you just put into Google Amazon's earning, you'll get a lot of sites where you get the correct earnings for that business, but always check with the annual report. One site that has a good data, especially for economics, is Train in Economics, and I'll show you another site for a business fundamental chart in a moment. Here we have Amazon's quarterly earnings 12.37, 10.3, 5.01, 6.47. If I sum of those up, I'll get 34.15, which are Amazon's earnings, and we are going to use those at the beginning of our calculation when we put things into template. Now, when you just quickly compare Amazon stock price with the earnings, you see that the earnings are $34, but Amazon stock price is $3,156.97. That's the price earning ratio of 92.45, which you say when this is too exuberant, this is the overvalue. It can't be that the intrinsic value of the business comes even close to that because of its high valuation. However, let's go to the second component of value, which is growth. Another page that is macro trends. So you have here all the data about companies. Always check with the annual reports, but it's really nice. And here we can see the revenue trailing 12 months revenue for Amazon's and staggering growth the company has achieved in the past. Plus, you have the growth rate in the past, and we can say that on average over the last 7-8 years Amazon has grown at 25% per year. Now it's growing faster, and we'll see about in the end, we'll see about in the growth in the future, but let's take a 25% as an average growth over the next 10 years. However, Buffett said something about how certain are you that there will be words in the bus tomorrow or in the future, and therefore to adjust for possible mistakes when it comes to predicting the future. So 100% sure you'll make a mistake. We can make scenarios. Scenario make you think in a different way. If you have a worst scenario, base case scenario and normal case scenario, it will give you scenarios, and then you say, okay, can I tolerate the investment? If the worst case scenario happens, can I be very happy? If the base case scenario happens, and what is the normal outcome? The most likely outlook, and then you can always put probabilities in the template. 25%, 25, and let's say 50. Then you get to some of intrinsic value is most likely there, but you are also mentally ready for the worst case scenario, right? So always think about how certain are you about your projection, and then when you compare it with my 20 position in your portfolio, then you say, okay, this I am not that certain, this I am more certain, it is a better investment even if intrinsic value might be the same. The next step to calculate the discounting rate. So what rate are you going to discount the future values of the business is going to create for you? There have been many discussions, and what is the perfect discount rate? Some says it's the risk-free rate, so the US Treasury rate, because that is very certain that you will get the money. So when you compare with the rate that I can get on my money, that's a risk-free rate. Then you can use the some says it's a weighted average cost of capital. There are many theories about what this country to use complex theories, but when listening to Buffett and Munger, you can really simplify things, and you simply by using your expected return. Let's say you are investing in your expected return is 8%. You always use the 8% for every business out there, and then it makes things easily comparable. When you use such as a discount rate, okay, this is my target, and then also if something is trading at your intrinsic value now, it means if you buy it now, then you're likely to get the 8% return over the time. So making things easy, take one note, stick to it forever, and it will give you great comparative result. So let's start with the discussing the formula. Here you have the inputs. You put the earnings, then we grow the earnings over the years, and now as Yogi Berra says, it's tough to make the predictions, especially about the future. We have here put the terminal value. Do we know what will the world look like in a 24 to 25? Answer is no. but we can estimate what will the world look like in a 2025 and 2027, and then we can say, okay, most likely this business will have terminal value. We use earnings in a 2029, the most certain earnings that we expect, and we multiply that with the price earning ratio in 2030. Depending on the year you are calculating, that terminal value goes into the sum of present value of future values that you get from the business, and that sum is your intrinsic value of your business. Let's go to the Amazon example that will make things pretty. Here we are company name, we said Amazon, and the earnings were $34.15. Now we have to put the growth rate for the next 5 years. Let's say that keeps growing at 25% from 2021 to 2025, and 2026 to 2031, let's say that it slow down little bit to 12%. Discount rate, let's say I expect 8% from my investment. Terminal price earning ratio now 90, let's say it's going to be 30. Then I get an intrinsic value $2,776. With this assumption, if we compare with the stock price, we are pretty close to this, could be what the market is expecting. However, when it comes to predicting, we said we have worst case scenario, best case scenario, and the normal case scenario. I am going to take this rates and put into the normal case scenario, and I am going to make worst scenario here. Let's say it grows 50% over the next 5 years on average, and 8% keep the same discount rate. If it grows at 8%, the multiple will not be the 30 by the market in 2030. It will be, let's say, 20, and intrinsic value fell down to $1,242. To this gives you impression, okay, what can happen if things go wrong. Best case scenario, let's be exuberant. Let's say that Amazon keeps growing at 30%, then it slow down to 20%. If it grows that fast, the multiple might be, let's say, 45 by in a 2030. Then the present value is $5,000, almost $6,000. Normal case, we have here the change the multiple. We have the sum of the present value according to probabilities. You can change the probabilities here. Let's say worst case scenario 0.2. Let's take the best case scenario little bit more conservative 0.2, and let's say the most likely scenario 0.6. Again, as we said that beginning, don't be fooled by Amazon's valuation, because if we could say that if the growth rates are rich, that Amazon stock is close to being fairly valued for 8% return, because that was the discount rate that we used. Thanks for watching. If I was able to give you what you were looking for, then please smash the subscribe button and share the content with your friends and family members. Our agenda is to increase the financial literacy in India. So please contribute your part and support the channel. Thank you. Till then, Jai Hind.